everything goes back to the system.
Yes.
You know, you have to look at the system and see about what can be done to the system as a people. And you mentioned earlier they always tell us to go run out and vote.
Right.
I believe Barack Obama been in office for two
almost
terms.
Almost a decade.
You know what I
baby.
mean? He been in office almost 2 terms. He was supposed to be our real first.
The reason for change.
Black president, right?
Yeah.
But black men, unarmed black men, are still getting shot down, like you said, worse than animals. And even to that note, San Francisco Police Department is now being investigated because over the past couple of weeks, it's come out that their officers send racist texts back and forth to each other. And one of the texts stated that one of the officer's wife's friend was coming over, and the friend was married to a black man.
Right.
And the officer was like, I don't know if he comes over and his beast nature starts to come out. I don't know, he's going to be in my house. What should I do? And the other officer responded, well, there are no laws against killing animals.
Woo.
So do what you feel you have to do to protect your house.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's how a lot of these officers feel that are so-called protecting and serving our communities.
Yes,
you know, because a lot of these racist officers, they're patrolling our community.
Absolutely.
And they're walking around, like in the San Francisco case, with these preconceived notions and preconceived thoughts about black men.
Yes, sir.
And then how are you supposed to go in and so-called protect and serve this community that you view as less than animals?
Less than animals.
You know what I mean? And so along with this police code of the blue wall of silence,
That's right.
There's this underlying underbelly of thought that black men are beasts and that they're lower than the low and that they have the free will and free range to do what they want to do to us with impunity.
Yes.
And I agree with you totally. Something needs to be done. I'm not exactly sure because the whole voting thing, again, and I want to direct this to President Obama, and I'm going to say this in the most respectful way possible because he also signed an executive order within the past couple of weeks that said anything on the internet that the government deems to be a threat.
Yes, like the officers.
To the government,
that
they can now come and arrest you. You know, they can view your Facebook page, your Instagram, your whatever social media you're on. If you say something on the cyber world that the government disagrees with, they can come and snatch you out of your home.
Yes,
and
sir.
so I say to Mr. Obama, you're signing all these executive orders for cyber threats, for droning, for allowing illegal immigrants to come over here and get college education. Can you please put something in effect, an executive order to stop these crazy white killer cops from taking out our unarmed black men? Like, I mean, I really need him to step up. Okay, he has, what, a year left? Basically a year left before he's out of office. You're signing out these executive orders. Do something about this epidemic going on across this country.
Yes, sir.
That stated, the statistics have said in the first 3 months of 2015, the cops in America have killed more people than ISIS has.
Yes, well, every 8 hours, another brother is killed. We're getting ready to go to the phones, and let me just say this. They also have statistics that for our daughters who are complicit with this killer mentality in high school, they are the first one to be penalized, and they are more than 80% over white women to be put out of school. Let's see if we can get this call in. 770-559-2999. Call your name, question, or comment.
Brother Gideon.
Yes.
Yes, Brother Gideon. This is Lowdown the Barbarian, leader of WA's deprivated original world Nubians, the black activist revolutionary breaking America's racial injustice and neglect. There was a saying that goes, create the woman, rule the woman, rule civilization. A black woman has become a perpetuator of this white American system based upon their illiterate concern for protection. What they don't realize is that when the stuff hits the fan, they'll never have the protection that they think they'll have. They'll run to us to cover them and to be their covering. America has did an injustice to our people, and we could never owe them anything when our great-grandfathers built the foundation of this country in slavery, within bondage. We could never owe them anything. So all of my brothers that have that price tag of child support hanging over your head, never mind it. They'll get paid by God when the time is due. Other than that, we should never worry ourselves and concern ourselves with what we owe them. We should concern ourselves with what we think they owe us. And most definitely, they owe us liberation. And through atonement, that liberation will be given by God Almighty. It was once upon a time when the welfare system told the black woman, eliminate the black man from the family household and the nucleus of the family. Eliminate the black man from the household and the upstandingship of the family, and we'll give you something. And now, only now, the price tag has been given to us. We owe them with the support and the benefit of our children, so they indoctrine what they would call a systematic plan to destroy at the basis, to destroy at the root what they've always wanted to do, brother. And if you want to censor me, you can find me on YouTube, Lowdown Barbarian. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you. Thank you,
sir.
Carlos.
Thank you for that one, brother. Let's go to the resident elder of the Hero Yah program, Prince Zebekiah.
No, my brother, how are you?
Oh, brother, I ain't doing too good, but we know these are the things that the Creator said would happen. Speak to us.
Exactly. One of the things that's wrong, and we need to begin to understand, when we talk about slavery and we talk about incarceration and the things that are being presented and thrown at us, you know, a long time ago, you know, we just came from a season in our culture, which was called the Passover, which lasted for 7 days. And in that instruction, okay, there were certain things taught us as the children of Israel that the Creator introduced himself to us between that period of Passover and the period of Shavuot, which is the day in which Yah created the law, or gave an instruction. And when we begin to understand that, we begin to look at what's going on in this world today. We are captive.
That's
we were brought here to this country, not to be part of the country, but to be a servant unto the country, to build the land and continuously work the land for the benefit of our oppressor.
That's right.
When we begin to understand that, and take it to its root, that reasoning has put us in that position because we violated something. We left the instruction given to us by the Creator.
That's right.
The problem that's going on now is that we've been locked away, turned away from the knowledge of connecting with the Creator, and we don't rely on him no more.
Exactly.
Okay?
Or
So-
we rely on their Creator.
Or we,
Exactly.
or we relying on what they have tried to introduce to us as being the Creator. But know for surely, they know.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
All right.
They know.
That this power does exist.
Yes, sir.
They just have kept us so divided about it. Okay, even with dealing with the slave situation. You know, when, according to our culture, if I took a slave into my home,
Yes, sir.
and he came in and he had a wife, he brought the wife with him, she was able to leave.
Yes, sir.
When he comes into my home and I supply him the wife, which America does really supply our women,
Yes.
quote.
Yes, sir.
And when when the final analysis comes and I decide to leave, that woman and the children belong to the oppressor.
Yes, sir.
Or to the slave master.
That's right.
Under that note alone,
Yes, sir.
child support is his responsibility. So
Teach.
when we talk about
Come on.
in terms of the laws that were introduced in terms of child support, in terms all these issues, if we take it up under the note, as you said earlier, America is in debt to the country, to the world.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Right? First of all, we were chattel anyway.
Right.
Still are.
And we still are.
Still are, right.
So the responsibility of what goes on about this child support activity, which has been presented to us, unquote, without our knowledge of us having a power or a force to turn to.
Right. Exactly.
But if we study the Passover, we find out that Yah, the creator of heaven and earth, sent an angel before us. Okay? And that angel this past Friday night.
Yes, sir.
All right, reigned through Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
All right? This is what they need to be afraid of. Our children needed to identify and know to whom they belong and know how to call upon them.
That's right.
And why you call them upon them.
That's right.
See, so he said, I've sent that angel before you to protect you.
Right.
You know, I was observing this picture that Cecil B. DeMille wrote, right? And
Cecil B. DeMille.
Cecil B.
Yes, sir.
DeMille's brought out.
Yes, sir.
And for the first time when I looked at it, the reasoning for them putting this film together.
10 Commandments.
Yeah, the 10 Commandments. It was putting them together to show that servant and master.
Yes, sir.
And to identify that so it be prevalent in everybody's mind throughout the earth.
Yes, sir.
Under that understanding, we find that the slave master that they brought, the slaves that they brought here, happened to be the same children that were talked about in the Passover.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Telling them that your name will be removed from you. All right? All these things that are transpiring are the things that are instituted in the book of Deuteronomy 28th chapter.
Absolutely.
As well as Leviticus, the 26th chapter.
Yes, sir.
And it explains why we're in these conditions.
Yes,
our
sir.
problem is our ministers and leaders have not understood that to be able to say, let's return back to the laws and instruction that the Creator gave to us.
Yes, sir.
By doing this, now we acknowledge that we belong to a higher power. We're acknowledging and calling upon his name properly.
Yes, sir.
See, like if you got a name, Gideon.
Yes, sir.
If I call Vince and looking at you, I'm trying to talk to you, are you going to answer?
No, sir.
So what they have done is systematically taking the word and understanding and calling upon the creator of heaven and earth out of our mindset.
Exactly.
Out of our mind thinking.
Right.
Yes,
So
sir.
now we're looking down to a man as being God,
As
the creator
God.
of heaven and earth.
Right.
Yes.
Now, from the beginning of time, this is, you know, if you study the scriptures in any kind of form or fashion, you know that this is a tale.
Yes, sir.
And Moshiach, as we talk about, Yahshua ben Yosef,
Yes,
he never said anything about he was Yah.
That's right.
Right?
That's
So,
right.
Why are you calling upon him instead of calling upon the creator of heaven and earth?
Teach.
When we begin to understand those factors will allow us to do the proper thing. All right? Passover meant redemption.
Yes, sir.
And hopefully I can convey this to all you young men out there.
Come on.
Acknowledge who you are, return unto your creator.
Yes, sir.
Okay? And then sit down and allow him to take charge over your life and begin to deal with the issues, even your enemy.
Yes.
He said, I sent an angel before you to keep you in the way.
Right.
Know that angel does exist. And when you understand that, then they begin to have backup, because to wipe out a whole family with cancer overnight,
Yes, sir.
all right,
Yes,
that's
sir.
the kind of power that this power is able to demonstrate.
Right.
Yes, sir.
All right? And they know verbatimly all over this earth, the medical system is in chaos.
Yes, sir.
They know also that the diseases are coming back up almost like they did when they
Absolutely.
tell the story in Egypt.
Yes, sir. The plague.
The plagues that are
Plagues,
falling.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
They know this, and they're looking for a savior. They're looking for one out of the way.
Come on.
And in the scriptures it says salvation is of who? Of the Jews.
That's
of the
right.
children that they putting their foot on.
Yes, sir.
So what they need to do is sit down and begin to think, begin to understand that the scriptures were here not just for us,
Yes, sir.
but for the entire world,
Yes, sir.
to return back to the creator of heaven and earth. So when we understand, when we look through this whole process, and I know the brothers and sisters who talk about, well, we don't believe in that, and
Right.
But what else do you believe in? Show me something else that can overcome when you've seen manifestations, right? Like when Katrina came to America.
Yes,
Right.
sir.
Right? When you've seen powers that only can be handled by a force greater than any man,
That's right.
all right, and be able to acknowledge that. So when I look at my brothers and sisters, and I see my children, I see the people, police running down on them, stand still. Moses was told, take the shoes off your feet.
Yes, sir.
Stand still, don't run. Stand still, put your hands up and just stand still.
That's
and call
right.
on your God, call on your creator. and call on him as the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac,
come on,
the God of Yaakov,
yes,
Yahweh or Yehovah, right? And know that he is there and
yes,
he's capable of handling your situation. So my brother, that's the synopsis of what I see.
Yes, sir.
And I constantly am telling people, I tell young men, look, man, you ain't no Crip.
Yes, sir.
You ain't no blood. Okay? That's some stuff created by the Italians, really.
Yes, sir.
Right? So now, if you begin to deal with that, find out to whom you belong.
Yes, sir.
You're the child of the living God, the God of heaven and earth that created this earth that you're walking on. You know, so that's my synopsis. I don't, you know, when you think about it.
Praise Yah, praise Yah. Go ahead, Vince, jump in here. 770-559-2999. 770-559-2999. Holla at your people. Go ahead, boss.
I wanted to touch on something that Prince said about the disconnection from the Creator that they have manipulated and thrown upon us. And it's only that connection that he's talking about that is going to bring you out of whatever trials or whatever it is you may be going through. And I say that from personal experience,
yes,
you know,
sir.
because when I went through my situation with the child support system,
yes, sir.
If I had not been on my spiritual path,
come on,
I probably would not be sitting in this chair today because, like I told you before the show, I honestly believe that the child support system was created to drive black men crazy.
Yes, sir.
Like literally drive them crazy. Exactly. And I'm gonna share a bit of my story. I was on unemployment back in 2008.
Yes, sir.
And you know, unemployment, I was getting my check direct deposited into my bank account.
Right.
I went on a Monday afternoon, checked my bank account. I had $150 in there, right? I go the next day to try to make a $9 purchase at a grocery store.
Right.
And it said declined. So I'm confused and befuddled. And so I call my bank and I get this little automated voice telling me that your bank account is now negative $52,000 something dollars and 62 cents. Okay.
My God.
Negative 52,000 and some change.
Yes, sir.
And I was sitting in my car, and I dropped my phone.
Right.
And I went through this bit of a whirlwind thing in my head, and I just
anger,
rage. I can't even call it anger. It was rage bubbling up inside of me, and I just started. I started punching my steering wheel, and I'm having all these crazy thoughts about, you know, my son's mother that I shouldn't be having, that was, you know, way negative, because I know she's, but like you said, you know, they the main ones behind it, and and run into these white court systems like, you know, oh, save us, but they really doing the most and ultimate harm to the family.
Exactly.
Overall by incarceration, taking the fathers out of the situation. And as of that moment, when I heard that call, I knew I was locked in a debtor's prison.
Exactly.
At that very moment.
That's
the subject of this show. It's the debtor's prison. And I'm thinking to myself, once I finally calmed down and was able to try to analyze the situation, how am I going to overcome this situation?
Right.
And so that was the first time dealing with child support that I almost lost it. And then I just read an article where they talked about a lot of men who go through this child support system, they will ultimately end up going underground.
Exactly.
Because they feel like they're being gouged by the system and treated unfairly and this, that, and the other. And I guess you could say I did that because I haven't worked a regular job since 2010.
Right.
And that's because in the state I owe child support, I owe $80,000 for one child.
Oh my goodness.
For one child. And so the last job I had, they were literally taking 70% of my check. Okay, and when I called them to try to get it reduced and let them know I can't live off of 70%. I was making, I think, $400 a week at the time, and they're taking 70% of that.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? And again, and then they do it through garnishment.
Yes, sir.
They just go to your job. They send a letter to your job, letting me know this is gonna happen. We're gonna take this much out of the check.
That's right.
And all we need you to do is let him know
exactly
that this is what we're doing. And so again, I'm getting garnished for 70% of my check. I can't even pay my bills now, and even less alone have food to eat.
Exactly.
And so again, you know, those thoughts start going to my head like, man, I'm about to
go Brian Nichols on them.
And if I didn't have that connection, I think probably 3 or 4 years prior to all this happening, I had gotten saved and given my life back to God and reestablished that connection.
That's right.
That Brother Prince was talking about. And so in having that connection, learning the truth of myself, learning the truth of my people and my God, not only did it help me, and does it still help me to deal with my trials and tribulations.
That's right.
But it's giving me
internal peace.
Right, internal peace, because I have this ultimate truth that we've been manipulated into not knowing.
Exactly.
And once you start to regain that knowledge, it does give you a sense of, I call it universal peace.
Yes, sir.
Because now I'm at a place where nobody can take my peace away from me.
Well, let's get ready to go back to the phones. And let me just say this to you. The churches are busting at the seams with sisters.
Right.
Busting at, and they so holy and righteous, you can't tell them nothing. But yet, they will put their sons in. And see, Mama and them is encouraging these daughters to go to the child support system.
Right.
That's why they're doing it. 770-559-2999. Caller, what is your name, question, or comment? Caller? Speak to us, caller.
Yes, brother. I just wanted to touch up on a similar situation.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, caller.
They garnished my check with child support. And at the time, the owner of the company had let me know that he realized that I couldn't live off the wages that they were paying me. And I told him, and this is a black man, that I know what their intent is. Their intent is to break my spirit.
Right.
But that'll never happen, regardless of how much debt they say I owe, regardless of how much they say I must pay to get freedom from them.
Right.
I know that I didn't come here free. So I'm not really worried about what they best may be. I even allowed the caseworker to know that I know what you'll do if I don't pay it. You'll say the first thing out your mouth, well, you know you'll go to jail. And I explained to the lady, well, I'm in America, so I'm already in jail. So it really ain't nothing that's going to be changed.
That's right.
And all I want you to know is that I seek is what I seek, and it's liberation. And the only way that I'll gain liberation is through atonement, sacrificing my soul, my spirit, and my essence to that of God, and not allowing this people here to break me. And that'll never happen.
Yes, sir. Praise the Creator. 770-559-2999. I know you watching the show. You understand? It ain't nothing about no brag. I know it's fact.
Right.
Call in and holler at your people. Because, see, this is reflective of the systematic destruction of a mighty and the holy people. Right. And that's what the book, that Black Son, he said, you need to read the destruction of black civilization, where you live in it, you watching it, they're encouraging it, and they're promoting it in on this rap videos. They're promoting it in the way the rap songs. They are not only, I'm saying it's all bad, it ain't. But there's an image that they have created, a profile, and they also control the conversation of our people about our people. And who is raising these killer cops? Remember now, it was a brother with this killer Slager who went and helped to construct a lie that was totally about the destruction of this brother. Right. It was a brother that killed Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old. You understand? It was brothers, so-called. And they got mamas and daddies. What mindset is it that creates this type of killer mentality for their own people? Come on here, boss.
You know, amongst the children of Israel, at one time, the police came from the priesthood.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Why would they come from the priesthood? Because the priesthood begins to have value and put value in the mind about life.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
Now, all the policemen that they're raising now are coming from dollars, an educational system that's leading you away from God.
That's right.
That's number two.
That's right.
So when we begin to look at what has to be reevaluated, okay, is to go back into the law.
That's
Our
right.
law says even the king, which means President Obama.
That's right.
Right, the king, all right, of this land should write the law, right, in order to govern the people.
Yes, sir.
And these laws are there taught on their benefit. One of the things that I would suggest that people do tonight, open your scriptures.
Yes, sir.
To the book of Exodus, start at the 12th chapter, and read through the 16th chapter.
Come on.
And begin to understand what is being said here.
Yes, sir.
Because it's something for you to know, and to know how the Creator operates on your behalf once you return to Him.
Yes, sir.
You know, when Moses gave the point, you know, on Moses' deathbed, or before he died, he was giving Israel a sense of direction.
Yes, sir.
But he said, but after all this comes upon you, the blessings and the curses.
Come on.
If you just bethink yourself in the land that you were scattered to,
yes,
and turn unto me, then what? I will return unto you. And that's our whole essence of everything that we're talking about today. We need to know to whom we belong.
That's right.
All right? We need to know where we stand. And we stand in love and truth, and being truthful to ourselves, that God is there.
That's
and
right.
He would answer your call.
Yes, sir.
Greater than they think that can happen. And the scripture testifies to that.
That's right.
It talks about what was done in Egypt. It talks about the angel going before you.
That's right.
And so I'm saying to everyone, see, I'm concerned about our youth.
Yes. Woo, you got
because
sons like I do.
number one, if they out in the street, and myself.
Yes, sir.
But see, my thing is this: I'm gonna call upon my Creator. You
Come
handle
on
it.
now. Yes, sir.
Right.
You handle it from there, my man. Because my God is God.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what I'm saying to my youngsters that are out there, that being tricked because they've been developed into a pariah, as Reagan said
Yes,
at one time. The enemies is up on us. Animals is up on us. You
Yes,
used the
sir.
term a little while ago.
Exactly.
All right. But they created this animal.
They
Right.
sure did.
Okay,
Right.
so now what we got to do, our teachers and leaders got to begin to gather us out of the animal state and put us back in the spiritual state to teach us how to call upon the Creator.
That's right.
And to call upon Him in what? In spirit
and in
truth.
truth.
So that they would know that they got a place, they got a healer. And that's all we need to understand.
But let me ask you this, Elder, because again, next week, they're getting ready to pass sentence on the teachers, the miseducators. And of course, we know that the curriculum that Whitey set before us has his story in it, not ours.
Exactly.
What are your thoughts about the implications of
Listen.
these individuals getting 20 years for doing what Whitey told them to do?
See, first of all, number one, that case should have been dropped.
Exactly.
When it's like President Obama is in charge of this government, right?
Come on, come on.
Something happened within the government. He knows he's blamed.
The buck stopped with him.
Right. Well, the buck was supposed to stop with Beverly Hall.
Beverly Hall, right.
And once Beverly Hall deceased,
Yes, sir.
then it was cases should have been dropped.
Right.
Okay, that's dealing righteously.
Yes, sir.
The cases should have been dropped. The other thing that the caution of our people, though, what they should have did is admitted, because they knew what was going on.
They knew.
All right.
Still
Many
going
of
on.
some people
Right.
some people made up their mind to say, hey, okay, I don't want to go through all this. I pleaded guilty.
Most people took the plea.
Took the
21
plea.
people, yes.
Exactly.
All right. They should have thought enough, but see, what they were thinking about was their dignity. They were thinking
Exactly.
about
Ego, arrogance,
that ego,
pride.
yeah, that
ego
ego.
system, and how much money they're gonna have now as opposed to what they were getting then.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And had they thought about that, all right, then they would openly say, hey, well, okay, this is the final day. We blow the case. We just before they started to send the jury out. Look, we surrender.
That's right.
We were guilty.
Right.
We feel that we were guilty. Then now there's a judgment or judgment call on them from that point.
Yes, sir.
All right? And they might have found themselves not having to go through this change. I still fault the situation because, number one, like I said, she was in charge. That was her call
Right.
in that position.
Right.
All right? And yet the Creator removed her from the earth.
Moved her out of the way.
earth so that who was going to be hurt? Nobody else should have been hurt.
Right.
That was his judgment. He made the judgment. He made the judgment call because she was in the position to re-educate, to show people, show the children how to get to you know, to acknowledge the things that were important to them and to their God.
Yes, sir.
Number one, they took God out of school.
Took him out.
So there are problems here.
Yes, sir.
And the Creator answered that. Okay? The people who got caught up in it and are caught up in it, they should have their lawyers.
Yes, sir.
All right? Make an appeal and then take the plea.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to have to do an appeal.
As a former educator, as our time winds down here, we got about 3 minutes, I believe.
Okay.
What would be your perspective on this debacle?
Man, I'm a little torn on this situation because I have personal experience. I worked in the Atlanta public school system. This whole cheating scandal is the reason why I quit in 2005 because I knew something was wrong with it back then and I didn't want to be a part of it. And so when I quit in 2005, I've had this, I don't know, something inside me that wanted to see the people perpetrating this crime punished.
Right.
Because they knew what they were doing it for money, and I thought it was absolutely sickening. Now, on the other hand, last week or 2 weeks ago when I found out that they were facing 20 years for what they did, when they were murderers, rapists, pedophiles.
Exactly.
There's a teacher that up in New York, he molested few children. He got 10 years probation.
See, what about the white girls that been going to
the
bed
white
with
girl,
all the
the
children?
white girl sleeping. One of the white teachers recently sentenced to probation.
Right.
The judge said to her, or he said aloud in court, what young boy wouldn't be able to resist that piece of candy? He's condoning what happened.
That's exactly what he was
doing. And so for these black teachers to be vilified and condemned.
Then
like
you had
said,
Doherty County that was doing the same thing
Right.
in other counties that they didn't even bring up on
it was
charges.
happening all across the country.
Yes, sir.
And other D.C., Philly, and there was another place.
New York.
They only got New York. They only got fired, and
Right.
their teaching certifications taken away. So why here in the dirty South,
Right.
Georgia, do these black teachers have to have
With
the
that
book thrown at
arrogant
them?
judge.
Right.
You
The
see
judge
that
was
judge?
you guys are just felons, and I'm disgusted with you. The judge was
Off the chart.
yeah, and so seeing how they're being vilified by this crooked system kind of make me scale back on the level of punishment I wanted to see them with.
Right,
And
right.
so I do feel like something needs to be done. I signed a petition last week saying that that sentence needs to be greatly reduced, and
Right.
hopefully some justice will come out of this travesty.
We want to thank you all once again for those who participated and for the many of you who just watched. But see, that's exactly what the problem is. We watching Whitey kill us. We watching Whitey miseducate us.
Right.
We watching our daughters go out and support these killers. We watching our sons go out and entertain these killers and then end up being perpetrators of crimes as a result of their indoctrination. We're watching the gods of the white man being forced on us, and we're watching ourselves go down the moral tube like we flush that crap down every day when we set off that pot. We need to watch as well as pray. We need to become active in a spiritual sense because we can't change this killer. You can vote for this killer all day, but all he knows, just like a pit bull, all he knows is the killer instinct that's in him. And he's going to do, and this system is going to do what it was designed to do, to keep a permanent underclass, to make us howl and moan because the Creator has destined us. We're in a prison colony. We're in a debtor's prison because of what our ancestors said and what our ancestors did. And like what Prince Zebekiah said, when we acknowledge our sins and the sins of our forefathers and return to our Creator Yah in the name of his anointed son Yahshua, he will return to us and we will return to our land. I just want to thank you for allowing a po-colored country boy cotton picker to come before you and the princes that the Most High has allowed. And I look forward, if it be the Most High's will, to see you next week. Peace in the Middle East, in your hearts, and right here. And let your heart not be troubled, because this too shall pass. We out. Peace. We ain't all the way out, but we will be in just a minute. Peace. Go ahead and make any concluding comments that you want to make.
In my conclusion, fear God and keep his commandments.